What is good, my anime faithful? Well, my Rick and Morty faithful. What is good? Yo. Um, I really wanted to talk about this. I don't know if this is going to be a recurring thing on the channel, but Rick and Morty being something that I watch from start to finish and already have been a big fan of it since the beginning. Not as big of a fan to make a whole channel on it or speculate so far as to making theories and all that stuff like that, but I have seen some of the theories nonetheless and seen just what some people actually believe or what people think could be possible sooner or later. So it's funny that that type of stuff really doesn't influence anything at all of the creators, as they say, but seeing this week's episode truly speaks to that. Like, having everything that happens this week, with from the Death Crystal all the way up to Rick uh, meeting probably his best ally himself as a Wasp. I think Wasp Rick is probably the most dangerous Rick of all times. If you haven't seen it, I think you will quickly know why I say that, and that I have all the right authority to be able to say that. So yeah, Wasp Rick definitely one to not be tampered with. But just by them going through this cycle of what Rick truly had to experience throughout, just because Morty wants to, meet Jessica towards the end of his life and have her as a loving wife and be with him forever. And so once he finds out that that's even a possibility, thanks to via the death crystals being a death of his, that once he's on his deathbed, his supposed girl is right there holding his arms. And I just went into God mode on this game, so yeah, I'm just bopping right now. As soon as I lose my special, I'll be normal, like Morty. Um, but it was, there was so much that happened. Like, this is what true, uh, like, freedom should kind of look like. I understand that there's definitely some stuff that they can't put into Rick and Morty in the case of, like, it being too much, but you see episodes like this and you're kind of like, what else did they want to do? I mean, to be fair, this episode was heavily, like, talking about some topic that, you know, has been relatively kind of exhausted as of lately, if you ask me, when it comes down to every time Rick woke up in a different clone's place, because the same protocol that Rick found out that he didn't really care for, because once he had this protocol happen, it's straight up, the Rick that we met, Tiny Rick, wanted to, live his life, be the only Rick, be the real Rick, and live with Morty and Summer and all them and enjoy his life. But of course, Rick not liking that and being stuck in a vat, literally kills him off and all the other clones in his area. So they literally made an episode or like a little background story for him to go to all of these different Ricks. We've kind of had, uh, an understanding that they exist from season one, or I think two, when they were hopping around from, dimension to dimension, getting chased by Ricks. There's multiple times, and he's like, "Oh, look, there's a cowboy version of me." Like, there's always been these little hints and discussions that there would be different ones, and that they'll see themselves in infinite ways, as Rick puts it last season, last episode, where Summer farts, and he's like, "That's gonna happen in timeless dimensions." You farting in every dimension. So not only did they really kind of hammer home that nothing really matters, and if you do focus on stuff that you should just kind of allow happen naturally, you probably will steer yourself in a terrible direction, which Morty being able to go straight up, he went like, if you guys heard of a movie called Chronicles, there's a movie where teenage kids pretty much just get superpowers from, like, kind of like Superman, but instead of already having the powers, something gets sent to our planet, they get close to it, get powers. That's pretty much what happens here, and instead of getting powers and stuff, he literally just went into his grandfather's uh, work, his weapon vault, and took everything that the crystal deemed to be leading him into the life of Jessica. I don't know. This is definitely already top episodes of all times, just because of not only the message it kind of sends to Morty, which we've seen time and time again that Morty is the most growing potential character within the show, and I mean that just should be obvious, but I guess some people think it's Jerry as well, but I think Jerry definitely has digressed, like he's gone back to being kind of more of an idiot than he usually is because he got everything he wanted. He's back with Beth. He has his kids. He has his family. So now he gets to just be same old Jerry. Doesn't need to think hard or anything like this. This man said, "I will eat." He's like, "Jerry, you can eat my booty," and he's like, "I'll eat any booty in the house because it's my house." Like that's his comeback. Like he's back and acting like an idiot thanks to Beth supposedly thinking she's a clone, and after thinking she's a clone, falling in love with him because the real Beth supposedly doesn't love him and hated the moment that he explains. So, as of now, nothing gets explained from the last season. Nothing really changes as a whole, and as a overall, this episode is absolutely phenomenal. I will definitely be hearing stuff about this episode from time to time because this was top of the top way to start the season off. Not only was it top of the way to start it off, but Summer completely ruined the season 4 premiere. Ruined it with all that weird talk she was doing. So make sure if you do have a Twitter, go and follow me on there, and I have it on the description, and I have Summer ruined it already if you know what I'm talking about. So definitely give Rick and Morty a watch if you are just my anime people watching this and know people who already watch Rick and Morty watch this. I don't know how that's possible, but yeah, definitely give it a watch. I enjoyed the crap out of it this week, so much so that it's 11:30 when it started, and I watched it almost 2 times fully. No, I watched it 3 times. 2 times on cable, and 1 time on this like high definition Twitter that uploaded it. So yeah, I'll have some pictures down low in the comments, or in the comments in the description. If you don't want to get spoiled, definitely don't check those out. It's just gonna be random pictures I thought were cool. And with all that being said, take care and peace.